Here's the side pull. And side pulls are very, very basic. Gentle, if you know, it's going to all depend on this noseband too. And the only reason why I'm not too thrilled about the side pull is that, so this is the action. And it just seems kind of dull because you kind of pull and then the signal just kind of disperses all over. I don't know, it's really hard to describe. Basically all of these, it's going to be yours and your horse's preference, and the preference is almost going to be like, what kind of pen do you like to write with? Do you like to write with a bold point, a medium point, a fine point, or a micro point? Personally, my personality type, I like to write with a micro point, and to me a Hackamore is a micro point. This is more like a medium point pen to me. You know, the feel is just a little more dull, but it's a great bridle, and it's, you know, definitely super gentle and everything like that. You got your throat latch, a jowl strap, the chin strap, all of this is nice and loose. And then you got your stabilizer strap, and I like it sitting above that bump. It's just nice and simple. And if you pull really hard, that's basically what he feels. Then you have your rope halter type, and it's basically like a rope halter, and it's great because you can use it as a halter. This is great for relaxed days and stuff like that, and then it just has some kind of system where you can attach the reins. That's basically all that it is. It's nothing fancy at all. And I really like rope halters, and I like this, but I really need to get better at retying things, because see, like this is too close to his eye. I don't like it being that close to the eye. And what happens is if I pull, there's no stability on this thing at all. So if I pull on the other side, then you see what happens to his eye here. It gets really close to his eye, because, and that's just from me pulling on this side. If I pull on this side, then it just moves back. So obviously that's what I don't like about this. It's just that it moves all over the place and stuff like that. But so here's the Bosal, and I've never put a Bosal on him before. Like I said, this is just one that it was my husband's, and it was out in the garage forever. I didn't attach this right. It's just you just tie a rope down here. But just to show you real quick how it works is it's just a rough piece around there, and you have to make sure that it fits right, because if it fits right, then there's a sweet spot that it sits and at 0. So there's a definite 0, and then there's a definite engagement. That just upset him because he doesn't like this, but it's very rough. This whole thing is just very rough, and basically when you turn, then it's going to rub across his nose and stuff like that. I can see it already kind of messing up his fur. It's not very, I don't like it. It's very rough and stuff, but very effective. If you get one that fits right and you know how to use it and all that stuff, then they can be very effective, because it's got clear signals. Just not something that I would use. This is my favorite bitless bridle. It's the Barefoot Contour Physio, and then I have a custom brow band and a noseband from Tack. She makes them in all different sizes, colors, materials, patterns, everything. You can choose different buckles and all that. I love. Totally recommend it. And then you can put whatever attachment you want. This is a Hackamore piece. This one is actually made from Barefoot as well. It's their Barefoot Bitless Bit, or BBB. And it has these rings on it. So you can either attach the leather to the ring like this, or you can attach it to the outer ring. So if you attach it to the top piece, then the metal touches, or you can attach it to the bottom piece like that, and then the strap will hold the metal away from the face, and then the action is just like this. So it has a nice on-off. It's like a light switch. Off, on, off, on. And that's all the motion that I need, and he can feel that. It's very clear. But the severity of it is going to be determined kind of by the shank. But once again, these are not mechanical hackamores. These aren't huge shanked hackamores. These are just really, really little. And even my Baroque hackamore, which is larger than this, it really can't do any damage. But anyways, it just does this. It just starts the pressure away, or the feel away, giving you a little bit of leverage instead of just physically straight on pulling from here. Now, what's going to determine the severity is really going to be your nose piece. This, I think, is one of the gentlest nose pieces out there, because it's this I don't know, it's beta biothane. It's really stretchy. You see that stretch? So it doesn't dig into him and cut into him. It just stretches. And I imagine that across my shin, and it's just going to physically pull my shin over, unlike, you know, the rawhide that's hard and that's gonna cut into my skin and into my shin and stuff like that. And then the placement of it, the higher up you place it, the less sensitive the horse is. The lower down you go, you're going to get into cartilage. Here's your bone and then cartilage, and the cartilage is attached to a bone, kind of like the keel of a chicken. So, and then also you're going to interfere with the breathing. It actually, if it's really low down, it can squeeze and interfere with the breathing. I know even if I do this to myself, it really annoys me, because even though I'm not completely stopping the breathing, just doing this to my nose, I can feel that there's something kind of, you know, pushing on my nose, and that's really, really annoying. And that's the same thing for them. So I just feel this is all soft, 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 and then right around here, that's where his natural bump is. That's when it starts getting really nice and hard, and you got other tissue around there cushioning it. And then up high above the bump, then it is definitely really nice and strong up here, you know, strong bone and stuff. So that's where I like to place it. This one here is the Baroque, I don't know how you say that word, Hackamore. I didn't attach the chin strap because I'm changing these all out, but it has a bigger shank, and overall it's just a bigger metal piece, and it works really nice. When he's at his strongest, when I first was switching to bitless, then this one gave me the most control, but it's still not harsh or anything like that. It just turns kind of like the same, but the shank is just bigger over here. So this is my favorite setup so far. See how it sits on him, and here's the action. And this actually has a nice big curve to it, so the strap actually just kind of swivels on here, and it doesn't do much that it can really, even if I crank down on it, doesn't really do that much. But what I need is just this off, on, off, on. Just nice and clear. This one is the Barefoot Bitless Bit. And this one is the no-name one I just got from eBay that I'm kind of preferring over this one. They're both very, very, very similar. The only real difference is that this one, here's the chin strap, the noseband, and so it's actually placed like this towards the mouth. And this one, it's curved under a little bit, so there's just not as much, you won't get as much leverage with this one as this one, because this one is pointed at the mouth, so you're going to start here and then you can turn this, versus this one where it starts here and then you only turn, so there's a lot less action going on with this one. But very, very similar. And then I just didn't like these thingies that bumped out. It's just how they designed it. This one's just nice and flat and simple. That's why I prefer this one. So when you're trying to decide which bridle to go bitless in, it really is your and your horse's choice. All of these are great. Lacer goes great in all of these now, and it's all of the differences are quite minor. This one is just real informal. It's easy, but it moves around a lot, you know, because there's not a lot of stuff holding it together. But if you found one that had a jowl strap attached to it, that would probably make this a lot more secure, and I would love that even better. So that's great. The side pull, if that makes sense to you and you don't have to worry about your horse taking off on you or anything like that, side pulls are great. I like them and everything. They're just nice and really basic. Cross unders, I personally don't like. Lacer doesn't like it, but maybe that makes sense to you. So watch how the action of it goes. Watch when you pull here, where does it pull on the horse's face and all that. And if all that makes sense to you, then yeah, definitely go ahead with that. Or are you more of a Hackamore person? The difference is so minor, right? But there is a difference, and that's how it is with this too. You know, it's really just personal preference. What is going to make it harsh is where it sits on the nose. Lower down is going to be more severe, higher up is going to be less severe. What is the noseband made out of? How hard is it? How rough is it? Does it bend? Does it flex? Is it wide, or is it thin that can, you know, more likely to cut into them? Something rough like this, or does it stretch and mold instead? That's going to make a difference. Your chin strap is going to make a difference as well. But the thing that's going to make the most difference is your hands, obviously. Too often people will just take off the bit and try to go bitless, and then they try to tell their horse to stop, and then the horse doesn't stop, and then they go, oh, bitless doesn't work. It doesn't work that way, because if your horse is used to waiting for that cue in his mouth to tell him to stop, and all of a sudden that cue is not in his mouth anymore, he doesn't know to stop. He's not trying to be bad. He's not trying to run away with you and kill you. He's not doing any of that. He just doesn't know that there is now a new command for stop, and that command is felt on his nose now instead of in his mouth. So what you just have to do is then teach him. Just, you know, show him, go through the groundwork or whatever, and show him, okay, here is the new command. It's now going to be my voice, or it's now going to be my seat. It's going to be my legs. It's going to be my weight. It's going to be, you'll feel it around your nose. It just won't be in your mouth anymore. So that is what people are talking about when they say, hey, you got to train them to respond to that. It's just a new cue that they need to respond to. So just let me know if there are any questions, and I'll definitely try to help you out if I can. Otherwise, happy riding.